Welcome to Future Self Dreaming. My name is Carlos Kukulkan. In this third part to Gnosticism in a nutshell, I'm going to explore the concept of the two lines of life. The first line we can think of as the horizontal plane. It is that of linear time in the experience of the normal life of our physical being. It has a finite span to it. It begins at conception, moving through birth, infancy, childhood, adolescence, youth, maturity, old age, and eventually terminating at death. All that occurs throughout life, such as career, success, relationships, marriage, family, acquisition of possessions, travel, can all be charted upon this line. Some people may die earlier than others, but in what is considered a relatively full life of 80 years or so, these are the general developments that will occur over the course of a lifetime. Our human psychological position is very much attached to this line, and various factors such as wealth, business, relationships, education, physical appearance, prestige, and status may all be seen as determining factors as to whether one has a good or a bad experience of life. The other line runs up and down the vertical axis and is the line of our being, what might be termed our inner vibration with the esoteric or mystical world that determines our relationship with inner space and truth of a mystical nature. While the first line has a finite beginning and end to it, the second line does not. It is a mystical ladder with no end to its depth or height. Upon the second line, there are many levels to the ladder. There may be many normal, average people of reasonable ethics and morals, and then there will be some whose vibration may be lower due to such factors as addiction or mistrust, with some others on rungs of the ladder above, those who will perhaps have developed more humility and curiosity and who are not as self-obsessed. There will be people of great inspiration to humanity, those who have changed the structure, order, and philosophy of cultures, and then there will be those who descend into very low depths of vibration, those who enter Dante's Inferno and who become psychopaths and living, walking demons in this world. Ultimately, nothing from the first line will fulfill you. In fact, the more we become fascinated with, enamored of, hypnotized by, and addicted to, attempting to find lasting satisfaction with the things upon the horizontal plane of the physical world, the more disconnected we may become with our inner world and the vibration upon the vertical line of our being. Nothing within the physical world has any permanence, not your body, not your wealth and success, not your relationships. Even the entire physical universe will come and go in cycles of the great cosmic breath, being breathed in and out of existence. It is our level of being, our inner vibration, that makes us happy or miserable. What lowers our vibration is ego and attachment, and what raises it is our quintessential spiritual nature and the recognition of our unity with the cosmos. When we vibrate with this aspect of our being, it leads to feeling happier, and as a result we will develop self-respect and self-love, and then in turn have more love for others. To raise our level of being, we need to sacrifice the inferior habits and vices of our egos. We need to rid ourselves of the negative effects of drugs and alcohol, violent sex, addiction to self-pity, the list goes on. And to stop looking to be saved from these tendencies by physical means. When we become utterly devoid of our spiritual identity and disconnected from our inner world, we may tend to seek salvation in the realm of the physical domain. So much so that entire ideologies of salvation that look like modern religions are emerging, professing to save us from all sorts of disasters. To those deeply entrenched in the physical illusion, these types of salvation ideologies may be very enticing. The idea that taking endless vaccines will prevent you from getting sick and spreading disease, that throwing endless amounts of money at environmental issues that threaten our existence will save the planet, or that changing your physical appearance or gender will make you happy and resolve your existential dilemmas. Such mental policies profess to save humanity from all its woes when your religion is derived upon the physical plane, the horizontal line of life. People often think they can make a change in their physical lives without taking into account their level of being. You won't resolve the problems of the horizontal line from that line. We must shift into the other line, the level of being. We cannot resolve problems at the same level of consciousness that created them. Giving up vices and dissolving our egos may be a lot easier said than done, and oftentimes we may get pulled back into previous habitual patterns. The inner work at times is arduous and takes true conviction to not become dragged back down the ladder into previous levels of being. To make permanent change in our lives upon the horizontal plane, we must dissolve the egos inside ourselves, to change the center of gravity that attracts these outer circumstances, as ultimately the inner level of being attracts the outcomes of life. If we dissolve the abuse from the interior, we attract something different that is mirrored back to us in our daily lives. In raising your level of being, you generally must pass through a social desert, as new lifestyles are adapted when you raise your level of being. If we do not change our level of being, we may simply become more entrenched in our own miseries as we get older. As in the themes from the HBO series Westworld, we might find that we just become stuck in the same loop, repeating endlessly the same patterns until we discover the secrets of the maze, that we can only become free through self-awareness. Nobody else can save you. You must do it for yourself. You must change your level of being and state of consciousness. In so doing, developing and cultivating self-respect. The author of this modern revival of Gnostic wisdom, Samael Anwar, writes of the various types of revolution and the need for inner revolution to make actual change in our outer lives. In his book titled The Treatise of Revolutionary Psychology, he writes, "Nobody can deny the fact that there are different social levels. There are church-going people, people in brothels, farmers, businessmen. In a like manner, there are different levels of being. Whatever we are internally, munificent or mean, generous or miserly, violent or peaceful, chaste or lustly, attracts the various circumstances of life. The lustful person will always attract scenes, dramas, and even tragedies in which he will become involved. A drunkard will always attract drunkards and will always be seen in bars or taverns. This is obvious. In life, all things repeat themselves. People say the same things, do the same things, and complain about the same things. This boring repetition of dramas, comedies, and tragedies will continue as long as we carry in our interior all the undesirable elements of anger, lust, envy, pride, laziness, gluttony. What is our moral level, or better said, what is our level of being? The repetition of all of our miseries, scenes, misfortunes, and mishaps will last as long as the level of being does not radically change. All things, all circumstances that occur outside of ourselves on the stage of this world are exclusively the reflection of what we carry within. With good reason, then, we can solemnly declare that the exterior is a reflection of the interior. When someone changes internally, and if that change is radical, then circumstances, life, and the external also change. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation of Gnosticism in a nutshell. I look forward to sharing more in future presentations. For counselling sessions, tea ceremonies, and workshop events, please visit the website futureselfdreaming.com, and you can find Future Self Dreaming on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. In Lakesh.